instructor, not entirely their fault that they don't know either, okay? Because, again, World War II, like I said, a lot of the martial arts are less than 100 years old. Right? When World War II happened, there was a huge mixing of different cultures. And unfortunately, back then, as exists now, is a little bit of racism. Okay, so people just didn't like other people, especially if, like, you wipe out a couple cities with some atomic bombs. The indigenous culture, indigenous people are not going to be so welcoming to you. There's probably like, oh, I had a cousin in that town. Okay, it's all gone now. All right, so they may not have told those guys the full story, the full context of what they're doing, because they didn't really kind of like them. Okay, history has shown that indigenous countries don't take kindly to foreigners, especially if they're invading and occupying and all that kind of stuff. So you have that aspect. Okay, another aspect that you might have is that some of the guys really just didn't, some of the words didn't translate very well. And I can tell you that, speaking from the American English, like United States perspective, English that we speak is absolutely terrible. Okay, I know this. I speak it. At least I try to. And everybody in the world will say that English is one of the hardest languages to learn, if not the hardest language to learn. You might as well learn Chinese algebra. Okay, so our language isn't actually the best as far as translating, because when you do translate, sometimes you lose the context of some of these martial arts that are very enriched and in depth in the culture and the background that they came from, right? And so, give you an example, a lot of martial arts will have like prefixes for, or a lot of languages, sorry, they'll have like prefixes for some of the words that will give different meaning to that word. Okay, English has something similar to it, but we also have entire words that will change the meaning of the word that comes after it, right? So, for example, diving by itself, diving is one whole thing, right? But then you have other words that come before it that can change the meaning of it. The words that by themselves would have an entirely separate meaning, like sky. Okay, sky has its own meaning, but when paired with diving, all right, you have skydiving. You have an entirely different thing. Okay, same can be true for Olympic. Okay, there's Olympic diving and scuba diving. Okay, so you have three different types of things, three different contexts, all one diving. Okay, all one type of word, diving. Now, the thing is that those do not cross. All right, not very well at least. Okay, you can take a scuba diver, put him in an airplane, push him out of that airplane. Probably not going to do very well. I mean, if he has the equipment, maybe he can pull the chute. Unless he pack the chute, then it's a mistake that you only make once. Okay, and so, if he's using his own equipment, then it's really bad, right? Same can be true on the opposite end. If I take a skydiver who's only ever done skydiving and put him in a scuba diving situation, if he uses his own equipment, he's probably not going to go very deep underwater. If he uses the scuba diving equipment and doesn't even know how to use it, then he's probably going to get injured just getting out of the boat. All right? Same can be true for taking both and putting them in the Olympic diving. All right? Jumping off the board, they ain't going to be pretty. No. And if they use their own equipment, the scuba diver probably is going to get injured because of the extra added weight on the board. Same thing can be true if you take the Olympic diver and put them in the other context. Okay? It's just not going to work. You can't be like, hey man, where's your parachute? And the guy's like, I got a Speedo. Not going to work. You're going to jump out of the plane and go splat. Okay? So context is very important. And it's also, right, scuba diving is very effective for scuba diving, right? So you have to kind of know these different things with martial arts. Martial arts is no different. You have things that are very effective for what they do, right? You just have to know what they do, okay? Now, the other main reason why some people may not know the context or the origin of their martial art is because it's kind of not that glamorous, okay? I'll be the first to tell you, man, that a lot of martial arts exists solely because one person didn't like the other person, okay, or they didn't have the rights to use the name for their own school, so they changed all the terms, all the words and everything so they can do their own thing, right? Again, one person not liking the other person, or something as simple as I couldn't afford insurance for this part of my martial arts, so I just changed the name and did something entirely different, right? That happens a lot, and none of that is glamorous. None of it is going to be advertised as, oh, this martial art came about because so and so didn't like so and so. Okay, so that is kind of the origin of some of these martial arts and why they might have changed the names and lost the context. Now,